Hey everyone, Joe Bluhm here again with another digital podcast. I'm going to try something a little bit different today. I'm going to draw a caricature that is a little more cartoony. I'm going to start with the same method where I am sketching, much like I'd be sketching with a pencil. I'm going to draw Bill Murray. He's one of my favorite comedians and actors. I'm enjoying how his face is looking as he gets older. He's really got a lot going on, and it's quite interesting. So I'm going to start with just the shape that I'm seeing. I really want to exaggerate. I notice he's got a lot going on the top of his head, so I'm going to leave lots of space there, maybe put the eyes down here, and let his nose exist right around there. His nose is pretty high on his face, kind of short and wide. It's got an interesting tip to it, so I'm going to do this. Just block in where I want to mark that. His upper lip, well-defined area, and just a little mouth with a half smirk on it. And I'm going to try to simplify this time. I've been doing a lot of these podcasts and a lot of characters with rendering going on, and I want to try this. Try to show that characters don't always have to be painted. They don't always have to be digital. I'm not trying to preach one sort of method to anyone. I'm not going to try to start anyone up with my own school of thought or my own religion. I'm just looking at caricatures in general, and I appreciate exaggeration, and you can do that in all forms. This is one challenging way of drawing, as I've mentioned before. My friend Keelan got me into drawing in a design method where you're designing shapes and cartoons, and when you're drawing in a theme park you only have so much time to put down certain lines. Now I'm blocking in where I see his jawline. Now it sits kind of low and soft on his face, so I don't want to indicate too much structure. It's very loose, soft flowing lines that go into his neck, and his neck is very turtle-like. That's kind of how I feel about Bill Murray as he gets older. He's looking very turtle-like. I enjoy how low these lines come on his neck, and then they just extend right down like droop. So I want to really try to play with that and push it, or at least focus on it. Because when you're making decisions, you have to simplify art. You're just simplifying. You're making decisions, and that's really fun to try to make those decisions, because you can put any number of lines down that you want. And each decision is just as important as the next. Each feature is just as important as the last. But the decisions you make dictate what the priorities are in that piece and what you want the viewer to know that you were thinking. His cheeks are nice and prominent, so I'm going to make them stand out. He's got that fun smirk. This line wraps down into the same line right here, and his chin is fairly strong. So I'm going to have some dimension with this piece. I always want there to be some life and some reality to a piece. Even if it's not sculptural, I want it to feel like it can exist in this world. So I'm going to make sure that I definitely include some good structure and dimension, even if I am just simplifying. I try to give as much information as I can, again, and then like I've heard Steve Silver says, you don't just trace your lines, you do another drawing. Because if you trace your lines, it's going to look rigid and it's going to look fake. And it's going to feel like you're tracing. You want to do a new drawing. So I like how much room he's got back here. I'm going to have fun with that. I know I say have fun a lot, but I really do. And I try so hard to just make sure I'm enjoying what I'm doing. Because the more you do it, the more you enjoy it. And the more you enjoy it, the more you do it. It's this big cycle that does not stink or get tiresome. It doesn't get old, because you can just pick up a pen or your tablet or whatever and just draw something new every day. So now Bill Murray's cheeks are prominent, so I want to really have fun with this. They're not big, but they definitely stand out. This crease here, that's important. He's got this like overlap here, as you can see right there, and then his cheek comes off of over here, and then it sticks up pretty high. But this comes kind of straight down, bulges out, and we're going to bring it in and curve. Same thing right here. Now, I don't have a brush set up very well for doing a tracing, so I might end up zooming in and doing a more simple structural line drawing. Like I said, I've got Sketchbook Pro, Alias Sketchbook Pro, a program that I'm going to start using, and I think that'd probably be more fitting for drawing a cartoony caricature. But for now, I'm going to use this program because it's just what I'm familiar with at the moment. Haven't dabbled in Sketchbook Pro. That's for next week. It's for the following week. And for now, I just want to make sure I'm comfortable with the digital work, just digital work in general. So Sketchbook Pro is next on my list. If you don't see me using that sometime in the next couple weeks, then send me an email, make a comment, say, Joe, you're slacking. Get on the ball, boy. And I'll do it. Now his eyes are great. They have this nice outline to them. They're not too far apart. They're not too close together. They're a pretty good spacing, but they are kind of googly and fun. Where this one looks a little lazy in the middle. His eyes are very distinct. Might want to make them a little bigger than that. And this one is a little wider. He definitely has these lashes that are defined. So I'm going to just exaggerate that element of one looking lazy and one looking wide. And you can see there's already a likeness coming together. That's what gets me excited when I start seeing it, because then I know I'm getting somewhere, and I can just, everything I do to push it and pull it is going to help. You don't want to overwork anything, but you can definitely help. So I'm going to bring his eyebrows higher, and I'm going to indicate where his forehead creases a little bit. Might not even use that in the end. And then I love his hair right here. It's half slicked back, and it's half going crazy. Really like that. Find where his head is. And you can see this isn't too exaggerated. It's a little more simple than some of my other work, but I definitely am having fun, and I'm just experimenting. From here, I can go anywhere. I can take, next week or tomorrow or tonight when I do another one of these, I can work on exaggeration a little more. I focus on exaggeration with the Kanye West caricature that I've done. If you haven't seen that one, check it out. It's on my podcast blog. Same thing, I focus on exaggeration with that, and that's what the primary intent of that caricature was. And it might not have been the most exaggerated caricature ever, but I tried, and I think there were some good qualities to it. So, I keep working for next time. Now, he's got some big ears. He's getting older. His ears are growing faster than the rest of them. So I am going to make some big ears. Maybe drop them. See how they come down to right around his mouth? I'm going to make them a little lower. And simplify that shape. His hair kind of flips out right here. And then it gets thick right here. And straight down. So, it's coming along. I've pretty much got my sketch where I want it. I just want to make sure I have the simple areas finished. I might want to move this down a little in the whole page, just simplify or arrange the composition how I want it. He's kind of a skinny guy, even though he's getting older. For a man his age, he's doing well. So I'm going to not make his neck look too broad, but I do like how his chin sits back. He's got a strong chin, but it sits back on his face. I've noticed from the other pictures. I really enjoy that. Looks like he's growing a mustache recently. Don't know why he made the choice to do that. Maybe it's for a movie. He's one of those actors that's getting older and still working quite well. I think his work now is more interesting and more fun to me than back in the day. I love Caddyshack. I love Groundhog Day, but man, you look at like his role in the Royal Tenenbaums, and I can't remember what that movie was called where he's there in Tokyo. Just great movies. Lost in Translation. He's got a heck of a career on his hands right now. But this isn't the Bill Murray session. This is the caricature session. So I'm going to indicate where this ear is. Even though it's sit back, I want to pull it out a little bit because I made it larger and I want it to be as prominent as the other one. It's going to sit a little lower because of the angle of his head. Indicate that. Indicate his collar. I'm going to move his head down a little bit. And I'm going to shrink it just a little. I would normally make my canvas a little larger, but I want to simplify the process because of this capture program. So I want him to be right there, and I'm going to give a little more room to his head up here.